We're going to create a glass effect in Photoshop with text. So first thing that I'm going to do is drag over a background. In Google Classroom, I provided a leather background, or you can just grab one off of Google. The leather background is there so you can kind of see the texture through the glass, and it will help to show the texture. Next, I'm going to go to the typing tool and just type in what you want to say. I'm just going to type in glass for simplicity's sake. You can adjust the font here. I chose Arial Black simply because it's a bolded font. You want something with sustenance so you can see in it. And then you can change the size here. So just make it big enough where it's something that you can work with. And then I made mine white. All right, and the color options are here. Once you set this up, then we are going to go in and add the details to it. And I am going to put example on here just for my sake. You do not need to do this part. Okay, so on the layer that says glass, go ahead and double click in this gray bar area, and this is where you're gonna get the layer style options. One of the most important things for glass is on the blending options to do your fill opacity down to 0 or close to 0. We do not want it to be filled in solid at all. We want it to be transparent. So next I'm going to turn on bevel and emboss. The bevel and emboss we want to be an inner bevel with pretty low numbers here, just so we can see the hint that it is sticking up off of something. Next, I am going to turn on the inner glow. I want there to be kind of a very subtle little white glow here. So I'm going to have a low opacity on screen, and I want it to be white so it looks like glass here. Next, I am going to turn on a drop shadow. On my drop shadow, you can use a gray or a dark blue. I left mine on color burn, but you can just kind of play with the different settings here until it's a drop shadow that you like, that you feel like the glass is standing up off of the leather. And again, play with the distance, spread, and size until it looks good to you. Okay, I'm also going to turn on an inner shadow. No, I'm not. Sorry, not inner shadow. A gradient overlay. So gradient overlay, the trick here, I kept it on soft light, but is to add several gradients in the middle so it has that kind of shine effect. So when you go in, yours probably just looks like a basic black and white, but if you click on this bar here, it will give you options, and you can add several other gradients within this gradient. So for example, if I just click here, it will add kind of a whiteness, that spot. And if I click here, I can go back down to color and add another dark color. So this is what gives it that kind of striped shine look. And you can add as many of those stripes as you want. Okay, so once you have the glass looking very glass-like, then we are going to go in and break off a couple pieces. Excuse me, this is actually easier than you think. We are going to use the third tool down. Yours probably looks like a lasso, so right-click and use the kind of angular looking one. It should be the second lasso tool. And then we are going to draw a couple glass pieces breaking off of our letters, okay? So just come in and do a couple angles here. And you always want it to circle back to the beginning of where you started to kind of get that, the ants. You want it to be selected. And if it's ever struggling, you can always double click, and normally that helps me to get it to go back. Okay, oops, and click again to get it to release. Okay, so I have a couple glass shards set in here. Next thing that I am going to do is hold the Option key on my keyboard. It's to left of the space bar, and then I'm going to click on this little square with a circle in it. It's a mask tool. So what this lets me do is it removes them, but you see how it still creates the kind of shadow effect around the edge? So that makes it look like it's truly broken off of the glass pieces. Okay, so I have my glass layer complete. Now I'm going to actually add the shards in. So what I'm going to do is draw in, again with that same lasso tool. what the shards would be sticking off of this. So here's some shard pieces just coming off here. I just want it to look like broken glass. Okay, so once you have your shards drawn in, we are going to add a layer for them. So the plus sign in the bottom right corner, go ahead and add a layer there. And this is going to be your pieces layer. You can rename it if you want to. Okay, once you have your pieces layer ready, then we are going to go ahead and fill all the pieces in with white. So here yours may look like a gradient tool, but you want it to be the paint bucket tool. And you want the top square here to be white. So we're gonna fill them in with the white. So once it's on the paint bucket tool, I can come over here and just click on one of these areas and it's going to color those pieces white. Now that I have them colored white, I will add all the effects, but instead of going back and doing it all over again, I can right click on the glass layer and I am going to choose copy layer style. So once I copy the layer style, I can come to my pieces layer, I can right click, and then near the bottom is paste layer style. So once I paste the layer style, then it looks the same as the glass style. Command D will deselect, and then I am done. So go ahead and take a screenshot and turn that in.